This video is a small sample of a full course over on craiginzana.com or Inzana Social Solutions. So if you want to check out that full course, go ahead over there and check it out. Otherwise, enjoy this video. All right, so first of all, we're here on Weebly.com, which is just Weebly.com. Forget the home, you can just do Weebly.com. I'm already logged in. Basically, Weebly is going to come up with a sign-in thing. Sign in, put your information there. I recommend not linking your account initially to Facebook or Google, like actually making a username and a password just in case in the future you change your Facebook or something or your Google and you try to log into your account, then you have a password and everything separate from your Facebook that you can log into. Later you can connect those accounts and make it easier to log in, but having that initial login information is very useful. I learned that the hard way. It is possible to get around, but it's not something you want to deal with. So just create your own username and password and then link up to those other accounts later. So the first thing it's going to do is actually, this is my kind of user, like the control center here. Dashboard, I think they call it. But you're not going to worry about this because this isn't going to be what pops up whenever you start a channel. Whenever you start, it's going to do the same thing as this does here. Like after you do your sign up, it's going to bring you to this page. This is where we're going to want to figure out what the best type of theme for your business is. A theme is basically the skeleton that you're going to build your website on top of. And these are the things that make your website look pretty. It allows like certain sections to drag and drop things. So you can see like here, the navigation bar, which are the pages that you have added to your website, pop up over here. And those will automatically show up as you add new pages. But over here is where you're going to have the information. And I'm sure you can scroll down here further and everything. And then like this one is, the navigation bar is up here. And there's a search bar over here. This will be where your logo goes, and then you can drop stuff down here. And this one has like a big photo here. A lot of these have these options anyway, but these just kind of give you an idea of what it's going to look like. So you got online store here, which if you're selling products online, and that's going to be an additional, whole thing to put up products, but you can start it pretty simply still. This course definitely will still cover that. And at the end, actually, I'm going to go a little more in depth with the e-commerce type stuff. But you can follow along and it will help you set up your basic website to begin with, and then you can move into doing that more complicated stuff. But if not, this might not be the best setup for you, so let's look at business. These ones are kind of like, most people call these pamphlet pages, I think. It's basically, this is like, hey, this is who we are, this is where we are, and this is the majority of websites. People, web builders a lot of times like kind of talk down on this type of website. And I think this is a frustrating thing as a small business owner, because this is all you need half the time. So like, if you want to just advertise your site, bring people like a fancy branded place to go to build your brand and have your menu and everything, like, I don't understand why it's a big deal if that's all you need a website for. So then we have portfolio here. So if you're a creative type, one of these might be good. And honestly, if you're a business that sells or like sells something that is very like antiques or something that you're going to be taking photos of, something like this might be good too. Especially if you're not planning on selling it on the online store type thing, but you want to show what kind of products you have. Or if you've had a professional photographer come in and do some really great photos, something on this portfolio site might actually be a nice little thing for you to do, because it really what it is, it's the portfolio websites are visual centric. Like that's what the main focus is there. Personal is kind of the same thing. And see, this says photography here. I don't understand actually why they separate these. I guess this is where the difference is, with like information here on the side. These, I mean, if you get creative and this is like the vision you have for it, go for it. And if you're trying to do a personal story or something, then go for it. But otherwise, I'm not sure these sites will be right for you. Event is actually a very interesting thing that Weebly just added, and I really do think these sites are awesome for, like, here's a wedding one, a conference, a fundraiser, these things. Like, this is great because it's just puts the event front and center, and allows you to advertise that event in a way that's still visually appealing. And again, though, you're only going to want to do these if you have nice photos, or you can find nice photos on a royalty-free site, which I'll show you how to do that later if you don't know how. a blog. So this is like if you're going to have a lot of content, which the number one thing that you can do to get yourself out there online is to create really high quality blog content. That is a lot of work, and I understand not everyone can do that. But if that is something you're interested in doing, if you have a lot of knowledge, especially if your business is really knowledge centered, a blog is going to be right for you. These blog themes really put the blog front and center, but you can put a blog on any of these other themes as well. So don't feel like, oh, I really like this puppy one because I like the idea of having an image front and center and just the layout of it or whatever, but I want to put a blog on it. You can still do that and put a blog on it. It's not a big deal. Other here just has some really interesting other ones, and some of these are actually in the other categories too, like I really like this. It's just super simplistic, and you have a lot of options here. But so basically, let's just assume we're actually going to use a business idea that my girlfriend has called Simply Coffee and Books, and we're going to try to build a website for that. So that'll kind of, if you're a brick and mortar store, this is going to be great for you to kind of get an idea of the same type of thing here. So we're going to go with, let's do this one. I like this. It's pretty simple. This will get us started pretty well. So we're going to click on it, and it's going to pop up with a preview. So you can do this. So you can preview this. You can click on these different pages and stuff, and you can close it and go back and say, oh, I don't like that one. Let's look at this one. See, it's kind of cool. It has animations. The image is going to load really slow, mostly just because the images Weebly uses are huge images, which I'll show you later how to compress images. But, I mean, this looks cool. This is very cool, actually. Wow. No, this is a very cool, and this is why it took so long to load, is because of these massive images. This would be a more difficult site to design for sure, but it's very possible with Weebly. These are just blended sections right here, which we can talk about later. And this looks really intimidating, but it's not, because each piece is just a drag and dropped shape, image, text, 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 image. Like, this is probably a big square image with transparency around it. This is a background image. This is an image. This is an image. Probably. No, it's a table, but it's not that crazy complicated. These scrolling websites are really popular right now. But let's say this is way too complicated for what I want to do, which it is more complicated than what I want to do for this particular tutorial. So I'm going to go with this one. This is kind of a cute little site thing. It's still a scrolling site. Those are really popular right now. So if you want a modern looking website, it's kind of what you're going to want to go for. We have services, which is also a scrolling site, about which we don't have to use these pages. These are just samples. So this has like a little gallery here. But remember, all of this is customizable. So you don't have to make it look like this. This is just really the thing you want to look at with themes is this, where the logo is placed, or the text of the name, where the navigation bar is placed. That's what this is called. It's the navigation bar, and where just the regular content is placed on the screen. And so this is generally a pretty simple, centered navigation bar, which I like that because it puts it front and center. Logo is off to the side a little bit, and then content's front and center. So that's a pretty simple theme, and we're going to go with that. It's going to say start creating your site. So depending on how fast your internet is, it's going to take a second to load, and my internet is super slow because I live in the middle of nowhere. So this is where things might start to feel intimidating. At first, do not worry about any of this. We will worry about this in a later episode or a later video. Right now, you're just going to want to do coffeeandbooks.weebly.com and say continue. And that's going to be enough that if I wanted to publish this site right now, I could continue, and it's going to publish, and I can open this in a new link. Boom, that website is live. Anyone that came and visited this site, it'd exist, which obviously is kind of weird that it has the default template stuff on, but that just gives you an idea of how easy it really is. Real quick, we're just going to look at the pricing on some of these other competitors and Weebly.